Okay, I'm gonna do this while it's still fresh in my memory. Let's do a recap on Gypsy Rose's Life After Lockup, episode number 10. Now, I did not do a update on episode 9 because it was literally so boring. Basically, Ken got upset because they were having Christmas dinner and they compared last year's Christmas to this year's Christmas, and yeah, that's pretty much all that happened. Gypsy complains, same old, same old. But this one, episode 10, is called I'm Not a Monster. And there's a lot of things to unpack in this episode, including a lot of connections that I myself made on things that were happening on the internet as of recently that are really well connected in all of these, right? Okay, yeah, so let's get to it. Now, the first thing is she has the baby, they go home for the first week. Basically she has Ken's mother and Ken there to help her with the baby. And then going into the second week, after a few days into the second week, she ends up going back to her parents out in Cutoff. And I want to first talk about the fact that Ken will not stay at Gypsy's. Now, he said in the past the reason he does not stay there is because he doesn't like Gypsy's bed. I don't know about you, but if I had a brand new daughter and my girlfriend was taking care of her and I had to sleep at her parents' house because of the parole that I actually got myself into getting with her and was well aware of prior, it wasn't something that was like a surprise, I would sacrifice driving 2 hours to work and driving 2 hours back to come and at least sleep with them and help her as much as I feasibly can. I don't know, might just be me, but it's just very strange to me, okay? He's like, okay, I'll see you guys later, bye. Now, during this time, Gypsy starts basically crying because she says that she's not a monster and she doesn't want her daughter to grow up and think that she is a monster because of the crimes that she's committed in her past, and she wants to be a perfect mom. Again, this is 2 weeks after Aurora is born. Remember that apology video that Gypsy had put out to Ryan saying, I contacted you 2 weeks after Aurora was born because I was going through postpartum and I needed somebody to talk to, but yet also had stated previously she wasn't going through postpartum? Anyways, again, this is around that time. And then we do go to a scene where Gypsy's real standoffish with Ken. And we've seen that before. Where have we seen it? When she was doing that with Ryan. And we know from her apology video that she posted here on the internet, then mysteriously deleted, that that's when she was talking to Ryan. So the puzzle pieces are puzzling. Now, in this very next instance, Ryan then does prove that this did take place, because he shows not only was Gypsy sending Ryan pictures of Aurora right when she was born, but also after that 2-week frame that we know they were talking. Not only does she send Ryan pictures of Aurora, her child that she claims is Ken's, or we now know is Ken's, but she also sends him selfies and her sleeping with Aurora on her chest, and also her get up that she had when she went to go see Post Malone at the event she shouldn't have been at because it was hosted by Budweiser or Bud Light or whatever. Anyway, he shows all of that and he admits that they've still been talking and they've talked on the phone, and Gypsy wants to basically have a meeting with Ryan, to whom her father Rod basically states, I don't think that's a good idea. But we know Gypsy's going to do what Gypsy wants to do. And she wants to remain friends with Ryan because she knows that Ken is not really into women that much. She knows that there's a lot of issues he has. and she wants to make sure she has a backup plan. So those were the most thrilling areas of episode 10. But in the next episode, which is the season finale, episode 11, we actually see Ken give Gypsy an ultimatum. If she chooses to go see Ryan, he's going to take the baby, Aurora Anderson at this time, and move back to Texas. Gypsy didn't really think that one through, did she? Because at that time, Ken didn't even have any kind of custody rights to Aurora. At that time, there wasn't a DNA test done yet. We know that this was during this time because there was rumors of this happening, that Ken wanted to move back to Texas with Aurora. At that time, Aurora's last name was Anderson and Ryan was listed on the birth certificate. So if Ken would have did that, he would have had to move without Aurora, because he's technically not even the listed birth father, just by a DNA test that they did on their own. And Gypsy and Ryan, Gypsy would most likely choose to go back to Ryan. And Gypsy and Ryan would have that baby because that's who's on the birth certificate. Ken would have a very long road to fight if he even attempted to do that. And that was his last chance to exit that he had. Because I fully believe Gypsy would have got back with Ryan. And Ryan would have taken her back with open arms, including with Aurora. So we'll see what happens next time. But have you guys seen this episode? What are your thoughts, and what did I miss if I missed anything? Let me know in the comments. So when I started watching this, a lot of people were telling me in my live that there was a reason Gypsy didn't go live last night watching her show. She's only missed one other night. And it's starting to look like she just does not want to look like she is full on guilty, because she knows, people know when she's lying, and she doesn't want any part of putting more drama than is already on her shoulders right now. Yeah, crazy she didn't go live. But honestly, I have to give an applause to Lifetime for actually exposing all of that, because I think that opened a few more eyes and pushed out a few more boxes for people to step out of. But what I wanted to talk to you guys about was, remember when she was giving birth and a little bit after, she was dealing with a hacker that had hacked into her account. And I don't know if you guys fully remember this or not, but the hacker was exposing messages, and you can tell the ones that were fake because it was very bad, like photoshopping of being fake. But you can tell certain ones were actually real. And the certain ones that were actually real were the ones that Ryan and Gypsy were basically, Ryan was asking, when are you gonna leave Ken? Like, I'm here for you. Like, just leave him. It don't matter. Something within that context. I'm gonna have to find them, because I know I have not only a screenshot, but I know people that should have them. So if I find them, I will repost them. So check them out. But I fully believe that it's been probably since, I want to say, before Thanksgiving in November. I think that there came a point in some time where Ken was just not showing her enough attention. So she started seeking it other routes. She started creating more drama, and she started reaching back out to Ryan. Remember, she got divorced in December. We know she at least reached out to him right before that divorce to have coffee. And now we see right after her daughter's born again in December 28th. So it would have been in January, because it would have been 2 weeks after Aurora was born. She's still talking to him. So it's very telling, and I don't think she's ever stopped talking to him. I think that what we seen last season of her talking to him has been the subjects of conversations, and she just hasn't let it go, and neither has he. Now, do I hope that he lets it go? Definitely, because I don't think anybody should be led on in that way, shape, or form, especially considering that there's now a child involved in all of this, right? And also considering that Ken is not native to Louisiana, so if something were to happen, just like we see in the next episode, he's going to take that baby back to Texas. But I do feel like there's not only trouble in paradise, but I do see that Gypsy believes that things are crashing down around her now. There's no coming back from this. Now that Lifetime has done what they have done and exposed the timelines, knowing what we know coupled with what she does online, it's very telling. Very telling. What do you think? So I was about to just relax because I work a 10-hour shift tomorrow. So I was going to relax, but you know what? I'm going to post this, all right? I just seen Ethan, who, if you guys don't know, he reports true crime on here. He does stuff about Gypsy Rose and all of that stuff. I will tag him down below for sure. But sir, I think me and you may have similar sources. Just saying, because I have heard similar things. But did you guys hear today Gypsy went live with her little minions that she has, that, you know, Bree and all of them? Talked a lot intimately about her and Ken and all of this stuff going on and trying to fight back rumors, you know, per usual, because she don't care. But she sat up there and said that she has $50 in her bank account. This is a woman that claimed that she is an author and all of this other stuff. Has 2 seasons of reality show, really 3 seasons. A lot of people don't remember that, you know, in the lockup phase, she did do that first season. Multiple documentaries and so much more that goes along with it, including like her income on TikTok alone. Because she does have such a huge following, she does monetize from that. But isn't this the same person that just did a video spending $400 on a stroller, which I haven't even talked about? No, it was $500, but she got it on a deal. Baby doll, if you only have $50 in your bank account, you shouldn't, especially if you have a child, you shouldn't be buying a $400 stroller when you have a stroller on its own. And you're over here talking about some Uber shit. Why are you taking Uber? Don't you have a whole ass car that you just bought? Like, what in the Twilight Zone is going on? Anyways, so she says, oh, I'll have to borrow money from my father. I'm gonna ask my father for money. Well, of course, her expenses are adding up. And as per Ethan, like I stated, there is stuff going around that says that Ken does not make that much. And obviously he doesn't, because we've seen in the show, he works nights. Like, I don't care who you are. You can work from like a certain time to a certain time, but it's obvious that he works from like sunset to like midnight. What's he doing? No one knows. But honestly, I really don't even care. But it is extremely evident that Gypsy does pay a lot of the way, and she has, and the money's running out. So what do you think's gonna happen? Again, I don't think Ken is in it for the money. I do believe that he is in it because she had money previously. When he first started dating her, she just signed all of the stuff. She had money. She was doing interviews. So I don't think money is in it for him. I think he has gained to like the attention. I really do. I full-heartedly believe that. Look at Ryan. He wasn't part of the social media like she said. And then all of a sudden, you know, he gets a little bit of attention. Remember, she picks him the same. But to sit up there and talk about money when, like I said, you're buying clothes from boutiques that are 5 sizes too big for your daughter. You're sitting up here having skin routines that cost $1,000 a month to keep up with, having hair stuff going on every other day, and it's probably goes way deeper than that. So the apple don't far fall from the tree. You claimed your mother was a hoarder. But who really was? Yeah, that tea is spilling. So let's talk about Gypsy Rose getting her account taken. I'm not going to say the H word because a bunch of people come in the comments and it's very annoying. They start spamming and I've had to block more people. and report more people, and I just don't have time for it. The person that took her account, and I want to make this very clear, everybody says that this was a stunt for Lifetime or a stunt for her show. You know, very good observations at the time. However, why wasn't on the show? Exactly. It was real. Gypsy wanted the blue check mark again on her account. If you guys don't remember, when she got out of prison, Lifetime was able to obtain that for her. So in order to get a blue check mark here on TikTok, you have to be either growing really quickly, be influential, or you have to have somebody reputable standing behind you, like a production company, a music company, things like that. Now, she had said prior that she was working on getting her blue check mark back. Now, the downfall of this is the reason she lost her check mark is because she changed her username. So Lifetime was probably like, we're not going to help you get it back if you just changed your username. That's dumb. So people send out these emails. I get them about once a week, if not more, depending on how my videos are doing on here. But you get an email from somebody, you click a link, and it looks like you're signing into your TikTok account, and you're not. You're actually giving them all your information to sign into your TikTok account. From there, they log in. Now, the guy was not from China. He was Turkish. A lot of people said, oh, Ken's dad is Turkish. Yes, they're that ethnicity, but it's not that they know anybody in Turkey. It has been proven this guy was in Turkey because he was at a cafe when he was live and people looked it up and it was in Turkey. Now, the only reason people do this is for money. And honestly, he probably did make a lot of money. People were trying to buy content, trying to buy like her messages and things like this. Ken even tried to buy the account back. You don't do business with people like that. Like, I would have just been like, you take it, forget about it, bye. But I fully believe that Gypsy did that because she wanted that check mark. Now, the reason it's so important and it's coming back now is because now we have context that the messages that she was sending and receiving by Ryan Anderson were not fake. They were something that the hacker very obviously screenshotted and posted. And you can check out the video with this comment and you guys can check out some of the screenshots from it. I grabbed them from Conspiracy. So I'm pretty sure she also has a video on it. So go check it out. Follow her on YouTube. But one, this wasn't a stunt for the show. They didn't even show it on the show. And two, this was not somebody Gypsy knew. This was somebody that was trying to get money. Why did they give it back? Some people do. Maybe he realized, oh, this person is a little bit influential and she has a lot of followers. I am just going to go ahead and give it back. It happened. I've heard about it before. The person that took her account wasn't very good with English. You've seen in the messages he was responding to Ken, he wasn't very good at English, and people were like, oh, well, he just faked all of the messages, whatever. We now know that Gypsy was in fact texting Ryan. We now know that in fact those messages were real. And we now know that Gypsy has kept Ryan on the hook by sending him pictures of Aurora, by telling him that her and Ken aren't doing good and she's gonna leave, by asking him for advice like he's still her husband, asking to meet up with him. It was all real because we've seen it now. So what I really want to know is, how does Ken feel to be betrayed by Gypsy? Because that's exactly what's happening. And if he doesn't acknowledge that he's been betrayed by her, he has full-on blinders and he doesn't want to see it. And also, I just want to mention to the people that are saying that Aurora is much better with Ken, no, she's not. She is literally in a situation, and I feel so bad for this child because she never picked to be in this situation, where whoever she's with, it's not going to be very stable. Because think about it, if Ken ends up taking away custody, taking away rights, whatever, yada yada yada, Gypsy's of course going to try to fight for it. Then they're going to be living in two different states, co-parenting with a child. If that baby ends up with Christy and Rod, Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be pretty okay, but at the same time, again, Christy and Rod have the same issues. Obviously, they fight, they drink a lot, and in my opinion, their kids didn't come out very well. I mean, Mia, yes, she has a good head on her shoulders, but I always remind people she was raised by Christy. I see Mean Girl in her, for real. Dylan is so traumatized, he doesn't even want to be around his parents anymore. But it would not be a good scenario, because then again, if the baby does end up with Ken, they move to Texas. His mom basically is raising the child, and he's gallivanting and probably bringing a bunch of men around and exposing his daughter to that. Not to mention, he seems like a super workaholic, so he's never around. When is his daughter ever gonna see him? Not that she's any better with Gypsy, but I just don't think that there's any happy medium when it comes to that. And they're not gonna, Ken and Gypsy are not gonna last long. It's very obvious that the trust between them was already not there, and now you have trust that Ken has with Gypsy. I give it a couple months, if that. All right, let's talk about this social media detox that Gypsy Rose Blanchard claims she's gonna go through, okay? Now, if you guys don't know, Gypsy had posted that today is the start of her social media detox. Yeah, that's right. She's detoxing from social media yet again. This is now like the 5th or 6th time she said that she's getting off social media. This is only a 30-day detox though, guys, so don't worry, it won't be long. Probably even shorter than 30 days. Anyway, I also posted like a list of rules, and like most of them are really reasonable. Like that's what you would think you would do if you were going through a social media detox, like telling your friends to only call and text you, turning off notifications. I would also have put signing out of all your social media accounts so you don't get notifications. But then towards the bottom, she's like, post to social media and then like leave it alone or something like that. That's not a social media detox if you're still posting to social media. So she's gonna basically say that she is taking a detox from social media and getting off. She's still going to be posting, everything's still going to be signed in, but she's going to use her willpower to not look at the comments and not comment and not respond and turn off her notifications. That's not going to change anything. Because very clearly she's already addicted to social media, because we have seen this before. She has said, I'm getting off social media, and then reappears in a day or two. She's going to be over here posting videos and then switching over to her burner account so then she can be in people's comments and stuff like that. Guarantee it. I absolutely guarantee it. And with that one rule, she kept herself open to still remaining on social media. So technically she's not even having a social media detox if with that one role she's still posting content because she needs that coin, you know that. And it gives her excuse to be on the app and to snoop and still look around to see what people are doing. Not only that, I had a few little birdies that slid into my DMs yesterday and told me that Bree was live yesterday again with her friends in the late afternoon, and they're basically going to bat for Gypsy yet again. And they listed not only my name but also Zora's and a few other content creators that the person didn't know who they were and didn't get down their username. They basically said they're going to start targeting our accounts. Good luck with that. Because not only am I working on getting that screen recording, I also have all the messages of the people that were messaging me that you said that. And if it does start to happen, all these people that were up on panel with her and that even spoke an iota about me will be getting a cease and desist letter. And if they don't stop, because I can prove that it's them, because I know somebody has the recording, I'm actually waiting for it today. And if you guys continue, I will take it to court. I don't talk about this anymore often, but most of you guys know that my username is LLC'd. So this is a business. You're not only doing defamation to my name and to me, but to my business. And let me tell you, that takes precedence in the court of law. So If you're here for the wrong reasons and you're here and you're sitting here reporting my stuff, or you're going to start, I'm here to tell you, I will find out who you are. I already know who you're friends with, and you will receive a letter. Have the day you deserve. All right, y'all. So come get ready with me, and we're going to talk about the live that Gypsy Rose did with her friend Bree, and her talking about her and Ken's relationship. But if you're new here, please give me a follow. My name is Ashtootrippy, and I love talking about true crime, conspiracy theories, and gossip. Now, before you guys sit here and question, oh, why did you talk about Gypsy Rose Blanchard so much? Well, I'm a little more intertwined with this now because I've been doing content on her since she got out of prison. And the content was a little different back then, and it switched up a couple months later, or like a month later. And yeah, I've had issues with Ken and with Gypsy before. They've messaged me. It's been a thing. So if you want to see more about that, go and follow my YouTube channel. I have more extensive videos on messages I've received and things like that. Now, some of them you do have to be subscribed for because of little trolls like the one she went live with today. So everybody kept telling me that she was live with her friend, and I was like, well, that doesn't really surprise me because her friend Bree is live a lot of the time. She doesn't really take time for herself ever, so it really isn't surprising. The only surprising part is that it was during the daytime. So anyways, I guess they were live together, and I actually caught a couple of clips from it, and I just want to talk a little bit about this group of people and also what they believe. So first off, this group of people that she calls her friends and that she goes online with, they are a group of people that literally only talk to her and have never seen any kind of evidence from the case. And when people try to talk to them, they just kind of ignore it in a way. Not necessarily like ignore it, is what they do is they try to debunk it. And they think that Gypsy's word is golden in this whole factor. And we have learned since very early on that that is not the case. Gypsy is known to lie a lot, and so is her family. And when it comes to actually facing a sentence of life in prison, anybody is going to lie about that. And the fact that they don't look into the lies, or maybe they're just blinded from it, I don't know. I don't have that kind of psychosis, but a lot of the reason they do it is because they're getting attention, because it's coming with Gypsy. So Gypsy gets on the panel, they get the attention, they get the followers, they get the views, in turn they get the, and that's what it's about to them. There's nothing to do with friendship in this or people that really care about you. All it is literally people that are fangirling over somebody that murdered their parent regardless of anything, okay? Now let's talk about the live that she did and what she was talking about. So in the live, she talks a lot about her and Ken's relationship, and I guess that she's like, this is new to her, and she feels like she's in like an adolescent stage in her life, and that she's kind of being like a teenager, and everybody's just like, yeah, it's totally normal. Like, that's a totally normal phase. Well, I'm here to tell you, so Gypsy Rose is 33 years old, and she always tries to portray this image of, oh, I've never gone through it. Like, I've never really had this type of thing before. And she tries to say, oh, well, I've never had it, so now I'm experiencing it. No, that has nothing to do with it, because she did have it. She ran away from home when she was a teenager. She had secret boyfriends when she was a teenager. She was online a lot like she is right now. So to say that you have not gone through those stages in life is lying, pretty much, because you went through that stage when you killed your mother. Did we forget about that? I know I didn't. Anyways, so she says, like, this is all new to me. Now, I understand that having a relationship and knowing, you know, how to handle a relationship, a lot of people go through it. And I get it. I've had relationship struggles. I've had issues. I've had so much stuff. I've been with him since I was 14. So yes, we experienced a lot of stuff together. And yes, we had to go through a lot of things. But to sit here and say, oh, I didn't experience XYZ, so I'm doing it now, that's not an excuse. Because as an adult, you should act like an adult. You should be an adult and hold yourself accountable for it. Now, she also also says that Ken holds her accountable and that's what she loves about him, but he doesn't. Because if he did, he would say, like, come to terms with the fact that you killed your mom and that's your image. Get off social media, stop trying to be what you're not. That would be holding you accountable. So in my book, he does not hold you accountable. He encourages you to do the same so you can continue looking like a fool. That's along with everybody else around her. That's exactly what everybody around her does, is they don't hold her accountable, and she just continues making herself look like a fool. In turn, those people do not care about you because they're not doing that for you. You should take your own advice and find some people that are going to hold you accountable so then you can grow from it. Now, what I find really funny in this live is she does talk about the whole thing with unfollowing Ken, and she does verify that she did do that because she was being petty and she was upset and she was mad and she was like, I'm just gonna unfollow him. On what planet do you make us believe that happened, like a week ago? Because he probably found out about everything that was going to be exposed on the show, and he got upset and you guys were fighting, obviously, yet again, because on the show, that's a whole different fight that happened when Aurora was just born. On what planet do you want us to believe that everything's just fine and dandy a week later? You had full-on admitted to unfollowing Ken because you were being petty and you were upset. How does that equate anything that's healthy in your relationship? Because you said it's thriving and it's a whole new relationship now. All because you sent a very long text message telling him that you appreciate him after you made him look like he literally does nothing for Aurora on the show. On national television. Not to mention what a fool you made him look like to 9 million people on your platform. Not to also mention, this man wouldn't even sacrifice like a month, 2 months to actually sleep at your parents' house with you and your daughter. That should tell you everything right there, and I think people are just ignoring that fact. And her friends on this panel, Brie, she basically says, oh yeah, well the haters are gonna say that, No, it's not haters that are saying it, it's people that are being rational as to how a 33-year-old woman should live regardless of how she grew up. I'm gonna tell you right now, when I was in my teens, I wasn't running around with a bunch of kids. I didn't do that till I was in my 20s. And again, she did all of that already, plus she went to prison and she was running around in her 20s like she was in her 20s in prison. We know that from people she's been to prison with. All it is just a bunch of excuses for the behavior that you've been showing that you know is not behavior that you should be displaying as a rational person, because that's what you want to be perceived as is a rational, understanding, caring, loving person, when in fact you're actually quite the opposite, and you really don't care about anybody around you, including your own daughter, in my opinion, of course. But if you think for a second that coming up on these panels with your besties and all of this stuff saying that, oh, I feel like she was sentenced to more than the 8 years she spent in prison because she was in prison with her mom. Ooh. If you think going on panels like that are going to clean up your reputation in debunking a lot of what you want to be debunked to the public, you're sorely mistaken. It's only going to give people more fire to the flame to get the correct story to the media, because we all know the lies. We all see through them. And believe it or not, there's more people that see through them every single day. So honestly, keep on talking. It's fine. Because the more you talk, the more you're around, the faster this demise will happen. And I've said it before, even in the beginning, it's going to be when she gets off parole. Because right now, what are they going to send her back on? 1. And 2, how long is she going to stay in there? Not that long. And 3, if she reoffends, she's in there for longer. And it's going to happen. It's only a matter of time that she'll reoffend or she'll have somebody else reoffend for her. Because remember, she doesn't like doing the dirty work. It's evident. All right, so let's do a recap on the final episode of Gypsy Rose Blanchard's Life After Lockup, episode number 11, guys. Now, if you guys didn't watch this, you didn't miss anything.
I was sitting there thinking, oh, maybe this last episode is gonna save the whole season, and but it didn't. It didn't. It was just as boring as the rest of the season was. And the only reason it's like that is because us here on social media have already seen all of this stuff. And we actually even know more than all of this stuff. You know what I mean? So nothing new. Gypsy still wanted to meet with Ryan. She was very adamant about it. She talked about it with her whole entire family. And then when it came to Ken, Ken was like, no, I don't want him to meet Aurora. But it was said differently. And I believe that's why they're still currently having problems in their relationship. So she slowly tells him, we have to take Aurora so they can do the test all together. You don't have to do that. Like, that's what she told him in the beginning. But then she's over there telling Christy and Rod and Ryan that she wants Ryan to meet Aurora because she wants a friendship. She's so adamant about having this friendship with Ryan. And I mean, it's rumored that she's stayed friends with all of her exes over the years. And if she could, honestly, if you guys have never read her book, she was still in contact with Nick after getting arrested and even sentenced. She actually got in trouble for it. So if you guys didn't read the book, basically, they were sending notes from the different sides of the prison. So this episode kind of went over that whole thing. Ken put his foot down. We seen the aggression yet again. And if you guys aren't following my backup, go follow it. I'm going to drop something that nobody knows. Like, literally, even my close friends on here do not know about the extent of what Ken had harassed me with. So go follow my backup page, Tea Time with Trippy. I may be dropping that today. I'm still debating, honestly. But anyways, that was pretty much the whole episode. And Ken pretty much says that he's allegedly gonna propose to Gypsy after she gets off parole as a new beginning. Now, that's really fishy to me. Because, like, why would you have Lifetime, like, spoil that whole thing for her? Even though she doesn't know the exact time, the exact date, the exact whatever, why would you do that? Was it a last-ditch effort to get another season on the show? Because you're not gonna get it. The ratings are trash. The viewership has been down the whole entire season. And if Lifetime does renew it for another season, they're gonna be losing money. They're already losing money. Again, because we've seen every single thing from the show online already. Again, there's a couple of puzzle pieces that are connected, but pretty much we know everything already. What are you gonna film? Like, yeah. Also, one thing I've seen a lot of people comment on is in this new episode, it like pans in their living room and she has a bunch of like things taped to the wall. Like, she has Aurora's schedule, and then she has like, don't touch the baby, about germs and all this. Like, a lot of people are going to be coming in. Now, I can see the germs like for the camera crew and all of that stuff, but Aurora's schedule on the wall, I know I was a very like diligent mom on schedule, but I never once kept a schedule. Like, not even in my phone, not written down anywhere. Because as a mom, especially even a new mom, you kind of get the gist of your routine like automatically. And this just gives Dee Dee. This gives what her mom would do. But it also gives that Ken doesn't know what to do with his child. Because I perceived those instructions being up for not only Ken, but whoever comes and babysits Aurora. Like, maybe his mom, or like maybe Christy. That's the only reason somebody would have those in their home, is if they were having other people come and watch their baby. I remember when I used to babysit when I was a teenager, I used to babysit these 3 kids that lived next door to me, and their mom was she was a granola mom, and she would write down, oh, they can only watch 10 minutes of TV, make sure they eat their snacks that I set out for them, things like that, like for a babysitter. That's what they look like, is babysitting notes. I haven't seen anybody talk about that, but that's what they look like. And they could also be for Ken because he doesn't know how to take care of his own child. But in this episode, we do see we see the fights. We see how they are. And she says, oh, well, we were intimate last night, so we reconnected. Excuse me? So let me clear this up. Is being intimate with your partner, yes, although it is very important and it's something that you should have there and it should fit in, it's not the end all be all and save all for a relationship, especially when you're fighting. Being intimate does not equal being connected. And I think that's where her problem lies, is she sees sexual activities, the more deviant the sexual activities and the more fetishy, I guess you can say, the sexual activities, the connection and bond is stronger. And it shows. She said it herself. She said, we were intimate for the first time in a long time and now we're connected, so everything is better. If your whole relationship is based on that sexual aspect, it's not gonna last. Trust me, as a person that's been with the same person for going on 21 years now, it's not all that matters. It's important. It's definitely a building block in a relationship. I used to have friends that would think that this would solve everything. Like, their advice to me, even though I never asked for it, their unsolicited advice would be like, oh, just go have sex. It doesn't work that way. You have to communicate and you have to learn each other in other ways other than being in the bedroom. And we can tell that that's a majority of their relationship. Why do you think Ken left her in the first place? I also found it very interesting that in one of the documentaries she did, it was like of her talking. I don't know. I may have even reposted it. And she says, oh, well, he's leaving me because he's interested in a blonde bimbo. Keyword interested. If you guys know that whole saga of her trying to dox her ex to me in Conspiracy, you guys know my theory is that that blonde ex is not an ex at all. He was only interested in her. Not to say she was interested in him. And I just want to sprinkle in here as well, because I'm really backing off the Gypsy wagon a little bit because there's other stuff that needs to be talked about. But I'm just going to throw this in there. A lot of people know that Ken is on meth. And he has been for quite some time, even before he started dating or talking to Gypsy in prison. I am not the only one to ever say that. There's numerous people in their close circle that know about this addiction. And like I said, allegedly, Gypsy is now found this as a new addiction for herself. And before you all come in my comments saying, oh, he doesn't look like it. Yes, he does. Not only does he hide it well, but his hair loss tells us all of that. Anyways, did you watch the season finale of Gypsy Rose Blanchard Life After Lockup? I did. On a live stream with all my friends. It was boring, but I'm glad it's over. And I guess we'll have to wait what shit show we have when she gets off parole, which is exactly in about a month. Stay safe out there, guys.